Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? All right, I think everybody in this room knows me for the most part, although we've opened this up for all majors. I think most of you guys are DFVP, correct? Okay, so I'm Sean Foster.
I'm Don Ravenel.
We are in career services. I work with all the media, arts, and design students, and Don works with fashion and culinary. And this workshop today is really dealing with preparing for the job market. What do you need to do? What are the steps you need to take to prepare for going into a job interview, looking for a job, making a good impression with employers? And that's something that's important across majors. It doesn't matter what industry you want to go into. You got to connect with the employer the right way if you want to get the job. Before I let Don share a few words with you, I want to kind of give you guys some things to think about. 5 reasons why people fail to land a job, right? You weren't prepared. Was your appearance tidy and polished? Did you bring extra copies of your resume? Did you research the company? I have a lot of students that go into a job interview, they have no idea who they're interviewing with, what the company does, or even what the job description is that they've applied to. They've seen a job, they applied for it, and they were hoping to get some kind of call or feedback. The less prepared you are, the more you can ensure that you're not going to get the job offer, right? They want people to come in the door polished and having a sense of direction and urgency when it comes to looking for a job. Your online presence put them off, right? Meaning your social media imprint. Things that might not have been complimentary to you or maybe your friends who are connected to you. You didn't market yourself well during the interview. The 4th reason is you failed to connect with the hiring manager, meaning that you didn't have a good social engagement during the interview, or prior to getting to the interview, your interaction with them through email might have been inappropriate or unprofessional. Your grammar might have been poor in your email or your phone conversation. And then 5th is you simply weren't a good fit for the job. So these are things to think about when you're looking for an internship or your first entry-level position. Things that you want to begin thinking about before you start applying for work, right? So with that in mind, we have Anna from PA Career Link is going to talk about how these things can obtain and how you can better prepare yourself for the job market.
I can't add too much to that. Everything that Sean said, you definitely want to take heed to. The most important thing is that these are all things that you can control. So you want to make sure that you are putting yourself in the most positive of light once you start to market yourself effectively to employers. So definitely take heed to everything, all the information that'll be presented to you today. It definitely could put you in a right position going forward when it comes time to market yourself effectively to employers. So, Anna?
Hi everybody, my name is Anna. I'm from PA Career Link. It's right down the street actually on 16th and JFK. Has anybody heard of it or been there? No? Okay, well it's right around the corner, so you guys really have no excuse not to stop by. Do you want to dim the lights a little bit?
I will. The big difference.
So this presentation, I meant to cut it down, but it was not able to work on the flashlight with this computer. So if I skip over some slides, it's not because I'm concealing information from you, it's just out of the purpose of time. So the purpose of this presentation is basically just to provide you an overview of the services that is provided at PA Career Link. Also, I want to open it up into a dialogue, so probably less of me talking and a little bit more of you guys asking questions. And I'm also going to give you some tools that you can do online at home or at the Career Link or maybe even at your school if you have some computers you can use. So PA Career Link is Pennsylvania's state-funded job assistance agency. So it helps you to prepare for employment, get ready for the job and the expectations that you'll have at the job, as well as help connect you to those employers to actually make that first impression, whether it's an interview pre-screen, which I'll explain in a moment, or maybe just going to a job fair and shaking some hands. So as I said, PA CareerLink connects qualified job seekers to employment. So what this means is that if you're a qualified job seeker, we've already sat down with you to look at your resume. You might have attended some workshops to learn how to improve your resume, how to write a cover letter, how to conduct an interview successfully. Once you've kind of completed a little checklist that PA CareerLink has you complete, we'll send you to the employer. So that's how we make matches. We have employers from all different industries. We have a business services representative that's in charge of each different industry. So we have healthcare, education, manufacturing, business, finance. Really any type of industry that you're interested in, we probably have some opportunity for you. We also have vocational training programs. So these are available to anybody who lives in Pennsylvania. And I should mention that all of these services are free, so just by virtue of you living in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania, you have access to all of this at the tip of your fingers. So vocational training programs we'll go into more a little bit, but there's all sorts of opportunities, medical assistants, nursing assistants, phlebotomy is very popular, truck driving, CDL license, so lots of different programs that will give you a certified credential going into that industry. We also offer workshops, as I said, that can help you enhance your skills. So it builds literacy if you maybe need to get your reading level up to a higher level for a certain job, or with math. Maybe you're not as technologically savvy as you'd like to be. We have all sorts of resources and workshops for those. So PA CareerLink, we like to call ourselves kind of a connection point between you and the employer, and we also stick with you as much as you stick with us. So you might have heard some bad things about PA CareerLink in the past, like they are unprofessional or something like that, or they didn't help me get a job. We don't help you get a job, or our job isn't to get you a job. Our job is to prepare you to the greatest extent that we can for employment. So we have a retention team that actually works with you even after you've become employed to make sure that everything's okay, to make sure you have transportation to get there. We can also give you transportation funds, whether it's tokens or gas money, to get you to employment. So we're not just getting you to the job and then dropping you, we're going to stick with you all the way through the end. There's two routes that people can take at PA CareerLink. One of the routes is through the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. That basically is a grant that came from the federal government that gave us the opportunity to provide one-on-one counseling for anybody that's looking for some more intensive job finding services. So if you're looking to work with kind of like, we call them workforce advisors, they're kind of like case managers, they're your go-to people. They'll know your resume, they'll know your qualifications, they'll know what you're interested in, maybe what barriers you're facing in your personal life that are preventing you from acquiring employment. So they're going to work with you, they're going to send you to job fairs, they're going to send you to employment events. We have something on each of our sites. It's called interview pre-screen days. That means that before we send you to an employer, we will help you to kind of run over some interview questions that we think that they might ask you. We'll also go through some logistics with you and some planning with you. So we'll create an individual employment plan. That basically means that we'll identify any barriers that you're having that will prevent you from getting that job. So if you are having some situation with childcare and you need to get that settled before you can accept a position, then we'll work with you on that. So the interview pre-screen is basically designed to set you up to be in the best position possible to accept the job and also land the job ultimately. Okay, I'm just going to skip through some of these. So as I said, the job training programs are pretty diverse and they really rotate out. So it kind of depends what you're interested in at what time. You can always come into the PA CareerLink and ask about the most recently updated list of vocational training opportunities, and we'd be happy to provide them for you. The only prerequisite for accessing vocational training is that you are a Pennsylvania resident and that you provide us with some type of proof of income. So if you're receiving unemployment, or if maybe you're working a part-time job and you're looking for something else to supplement, that's basically all you need to do, and then that makes you eligible to receive up to $8,000 of funding for that program. So not to say that any program really costs more than $8,000, so most of these programs won't cost you anything. It's just kind of going through the process, and we have people to help you along the way. Career Resource Center is something that anybody can use. Those two routes that I mentioned with the workforce advisor and the vocational training, that's a little bit more intensive, but not everybody needs that. Not everybody wants to sit down one-on-one. Maybe you just need to come in and print out a few copies of your resume or make a fax. So we have something called the Career Resource Center. We have a full computer lab that's open for public access during all of our business hours. You can go in there and just do whatever type of job search activities that you need to. We also have people who are staff there who are able to provide you with assistance. If there's a job application you might be struggling with, or you can't get onto a website, we're here to help you with that. We also advertise in the Career Resource Center all of our opportunities that we share, not just from the PA CareerLink itself, but we also have a diverse array of community partners throughout Philadelphia. So these are nonprofit organizations, banks, universities, all types of entities that are here to help you and provide different resources. So the CRC is somewhere that you can go, not just to use a computer, but also just to gain some information. If there's a job fair coming up, we're going to post it there. Something that we should mention is for veterans, we have something called priority of service. That means that if there's all of us in this room applying for the same job, the veteran will be given the opportunity to accept the position first. This also goes for any covered persons, which is kind of like a spouse or like a civil union of a veteran. So that's just a little way that PA CareerLink says thank you to our veterans and provides them with that opportunity. We have a lot of other programs too. There's really a program for every type of person at PA CareerLink. And for students, we often like to attract young populations because you guys are coming out of school, you have a really important skill set that you're eager to use. So some of these won't apply to you, but if you know anybody who maybe needs some help with anything that we can help with any of our specialized programs, so we have a program for older workers, 55 plus. We have a program for individuals that are reentering society after being incarcerated. So there's a lot of opportunities, and if you yourself or anybody you know could benefit, then be sure to let them know. These are just a glimpse of some of the workshops that we offer. As you can see, there's do's and don'ts of resumes, acing the interview. We do mock interviews, which is extremely helpful because you can go in and actually practice, bounce ideas off somebody else who might also have an interview coming up next week. So it's a really great way to engage with other people and network as well. Everybody around you is also looking for a job, and so when you all have jobs, you expand your network and then you can use those people as resources in the future. We also have some workshops that don't necessarily pertain to job searching, but might just be helpful in general to your life. So we have workshops that are on financial literacy, where banks will come in. Also, if you are looking to enroll in a university, we have different universities that come in to do enrollments. We also have USEF that comes in to do how to save on your utility bills. So it's very diverse, and you'll be able to find something that's useful, whether in your job search or just in your personal life. So the way that PA CareerLink posts all of its jobs are through this engine. It's called Job Gateway. Has anybody ever seen it before? Maybe, maybe not. So this is statewide, so any job that's posted in Pennsylvania is posted through through Job Gateway, excuse me. This is important because it's not the same thing as Indeed or Monster, because we actually have relationships with the employers that we post on here. So you'll see on here that we have employers that will have a little symbol next to them. It's a yellow keystone symbol, and that means that that employer has contacted PA CareerLink and said, hey, I need some help sourcing candidates. So whereas Indeed or Monster, you might be sending out resumes kind of blindly and not sure whether or not somebody's going to contact you or how to even get in touch with the employer. If you find a job on Job Gateway that you're interested in, you can actually just come into the job, into any PA CareerLink and say, hey, I'm interested in this job. Can you find somebody that will help me connect me to that employer? Because odds are somebody does know that employer and is there to get you an interview. Job Gateway is also useful because it advertises all of the events, all of the workshops, all of the interview pre-screen days that are happening at any PA CareerLink in the state. So even if you're in Montgomery County or Bristol, you can still go ahead and find all of the resources right online without having to go in and go out of your way if there's not something there that you like. So it'll offer a lot of the same tools that you might see on any other search engine. You have a profile where you have your resume, Some other interesting tools that are available are just ways that you can practice interviewing at home. So there's an interview tool called Big Interview, and that allows you to record yourself interviewing, and then the computer will actually give you feedback on what you did well, maybe what some things you could work on for your next interview. So it's a really great way to just practice at home without even going anywhere. Okay, and so this is something that I do have some handouts on, but at the PA Career Link, we try to mimic a professional situation that you might be in with an employer. And in real life, we also have employers that are on site every single day at the Career Link, well, almost every day. So we encourage you that even if you're just coming into the Career Link to use a computer really fast, still dress your best, because you never know when an employer is gonna pull you aside and say, hey, you look nice, can I interview you? We've had people who have been hired on the spot just because they were dressed professionally and they were given that opportunity over somebody else. So for that reason, we really encourage you to come dressed, presentable. You don't have to be wearing a suit every time you come in, but something that's modest, something that makes you look nice. We just ask that you don't wear tank tops, sleeveless shirts, flip-flop shorts, and when you come in the building, just remove your hats and sunglasses. And I know that I mentioned that we have a Career Link right down the street. If there's another location that you feel more comfortable at or is more convenient to you, then you can go to any Career Link. We receive the same services at either. So we have 3 other locations. There's Northwest up in Germantown, West Career Link, 39th and Market, and then we have a North Philadelphia site around Hunting Park, 5th and Bristol Streets. So that's pretty much what I have for right now, and if you have any questions, please let me know, and feel free, I can pass these out, or you can come up and grab some literature.
Yeah, I'll pass them out.
So that's the, just the PA Career Link one, and then these are interviews. Does anybody have any questions? Yep.
Do you get a lot of people that are involved in film?
So that's a good question. The arts industry is a little bit hard to come by, to be honest, but we do have a lot of opportunities that, I'm sorry? Yeah.
Okay.
We do have a lot of opportunities that come by from like different industries. Like for example, sometimes like lawyer offices will contact us or courts and be like, hey, we need somebody to film this court session, something like that. So it may not be like an art-focused employer, but it could be an employer that needs somebody who specializes in art or needs somebody who specializes in production. So there's always an opportunity there. It's just kind of a matter of sifting through it and seeing what's available. It's also always depends on timing. So you might find something and then find out that somebody took that position. So it's important to keep updating the list and just see what's current.
So Adam, some of these, just so we can have a kind of a correct representation of who's in the room. The students that are here are in a program that they learn how to script, shoot, and edit video programs. Sometimes there's a strength acquired where they do sound reinforcement, sometimes a little bit. Sometimes there's strength acquired, they do some generalized still photography a little bit, but they're primarily television makers. So if there was an in-house video program or a seminar taking place or a training program needing to be created, they'd be a great resource upon graduation. When they're in the early stages and in the in-between program, because this is 3 years in most cases to finish out a program, they're learning as they go. So maybe in their 5th quarter, not quite as qualified as, of course, they will be in their 12th quarter, right, when they're ready to graduate. So assuming we're talking about a graduating student who's exiting the program, the type of things that might come into your department that are television or video related, the employers are talking about are looking for people that are fully legal. I'm asking a question here. They're looking for people that are fully legal, fully licensed, fully insured, all geared up, have a car, have the necessary demos up on the internet they can look at. So they're looking for real vendors. They're not looking to have a discussion with a film student. They're looking for a real video vendor. So is that true or false in most cases?
Whether or not they need to have all of those qualifications to land a job?
If I use the word land a job, there are two different ways of looking at film students. One of which is a freelancer, like
Okay.
or a per day job, like if we've got something we need video recorded, right? That's a per day job. Or we're looking, or your business, as an example, CareerLink, maybe wants to formulate a job where they have a consistent video person on staff, and the objective of that video person, 40 hours a week, is to do video interviews with people, edit them, post them to the website, and be a social media director at the same time, right? That's a job, right?
Right.
But having a freelance opportunity once in a great while where there's a seminar, there's somebody needs something video recorded and edited, that's a subcontractor job.
Okay.
So our students are looking for stable, consistent, long-term opportunities, of course. They want that 40-hour-a-week consistent job. That would be wonderful. That's the dream, right? But they also know that as part of what we do as a part of our living is going to be what they call a gig economy, right? So we just have these gigs come up, and we have three projects next week we have to create. So how often and in what style television, video, audio, photography jobs come in and out of CareerLink? What kind of things have you seen in your tenure there that relate to that? Let's give them an idea of what they can expect if they were to walk in and use your organization.
Sure. So as I kind of touched on, it's not necessarily that we would have like an employer that comes in that is that focuses on video production. But we often have employers that come in who might focus on something totally different but need somebody who specializes in those skills. So like as I gave an example, we often have employment opportunities like with the Philadelphia court system where they need somebody to come and film the case being unfolded. So that's just an example of a way that you can kind of make a connection with the employer that you might not have expected them to have an opportunity for you, but they do because there is that need for some specialized talent there. So I think that kind of goes across the board for many different employers. It's important to kind of keep your eyes peeled for those opportunities and not just eliminate something right off the bat because it doesn't sound like it's in your field, because with any business that's running, they need hands in every type of field. So they need people for communications, they need people for marketing, they need people for production. So even if it's maybe like a pharmaceutical company, they still need people for all those positions to promote their business, to carry out everyday operations. So it's just kind of a matter of being open and willing to apply for positions that might not have necessarily been the most glamorous or the most obvious coming out of your field as you graduate, but they are there for you. And just kind of touch on your first question about qualifications. There's entry-level positions everywhere. Nobody expects you right out of college to have 10 years of experience. That's just not reality. If you've been studying, you might have been working part-time to pay for your education. Nobody expects you to have that tenured experience under your belt right off the bat. So there's always going to be an entry-level position for you open. It's just a matter of showing your willingness to learn, your willingness to be trained, your willingness to engage in maybe a clientele that you're not previously familiar with or an industry that you're not previously familiar with.
Part of why we wanted to do this workshop is because you guys probably know how to go on Indeed or some other website and look for a job, right? You see the job title, you see the job description and what the employer is looking for. What you don't see is the other areas of the job that could sink or swim you, right? Like, what kind of culture is this company? What are they looking for in an applicant, right? I've had some employers actually say we don't really want any male applicants, we want female, which is discriminatory. But you're dealing with all kinds of companies, all kinds of individuals in the populace that are looking to hire. So, but you won't get that information when you're looking at the job lead that you're about to apply for. So you need to be as fully armed and prepared as you can before you go into that interview, if you get a call for an interview. And some people don't know what to wear to an interview. Some people don't know what to say when they go into or they walk up to an employer at a job fair. And by the way, I don't know how many of you, some of you came to our recent job fair. By show of hands, who came to the job fair we had a couple weeks ago? Okay, so that's less than half of the room. One of the employers that came to the job fair shared with Don and I that some of your students are really, really bright, really motivated, really sharp. However, there were some students who walked up to me and didn't know what to say. Literally walked up to the table and just stood there. Or said, hey, what is this, right? Now, how many of you, if you were an employer, would want to hire someone who didn't have any idea what to say to you if you're looking to hire them, right? Like, put yourself in the mind of an employer, right? You have a job, you have a budget where you want to pay this person to do this job, And you have to figure out who's going to be the best person for that budget threshold that you're working with. Are you going to hire the person who didn't take the time to think about what they were going to say before they walked up to you? They didn't take the time to research, much less prepare by looking professional when they walked up to you? Or are you going to look at the person who is really polished and really serious about making a good impression? That's more of a statement than a question. But I share that with you because this employer is an alum from here, by the way, but is currently an employer, and said, we need to do more about preparing students for social engagement when they talk to an employer, right? How to look somebody in the face, how to shake a hand, how to express themselves articulately, how to dress, right? And for some of you, this might be the 100th time you've heard this conversation. Some of you, this might be the first time. But it's important that you guys understand that you know, the employers are looking at you for many other things other than how well you can shoot, light, and edit a scene, or how well your portfolio looks. They're also interviewing you for a culture fit. When you go in, are you going to fit into their culture if they hire you? Are you going to be awkward and you're going to kind of sit back and not talk? Or are you going to be able to fully immerse yourself into the social environment, right? And that takes some skills. Now, I don't want to dominate the conversation. Now, you have some things you want to offer?
What you said was absolutely accurate. You know, it all matters. You know, and as I touched on earlier, these are all things that you can control. You know, as far as how you project yourself, how you present yourself in front of employers. So it's all relevant. We cannot stress it enough, how important it is to be able to control the little things. You know, how you look an employer in an eye, how you shake a hand, how your appearance is professionally. It all matters. It's all relevant.
Can I speak of this for a second?
Please.
I know we're on the record, right? We're always on the record, including being video recorded. I would came close. So it's difficult to say things that might be based in truth and realities, okay? So, you know, a lot of our young people, including when I was young, maybe came from a household where you weren't properly trained on even how to take care of yourself hygienically, right? Take care of your appearance, making sure you bathe every day, making sure you take care of your teeth, understand how to be well-groomed in regards to haircuts. Maybe mom and dad enjoyed drug activity, and you saw nothing wrong with it as an adult too, because you saw it happening at home. Maybe mom and dad didn't take care of their looks, so you didn't think it was important to take care of your looks. Maybe mom and dad didn't train you how to dress. You know, now you're in college, and then you're in front of a faculty member, and you're 18 years old, and they're trying to tell you that like there are parameters out there. There are these mystical people called employers who are one day going to assess you too, and then that's 36 months from now. Like, so you've got 36 months to kind of get it all together. And it's even less time than that, because as an example, you had a job fair that these guys could have been, 12 months into the program, 3 or 4 quarters, and they're in front of real employers. And incidentally, for those people who are, have their ears perked up right now, people that went to the job fair 2 weeks ago walked away. We know 2 of them that walked away with jobs in their field of interest, doing television video. And that's a big deal, to say that these guys organize people that come in and you guys actually walk away with jobs. That connection was made. But there are reasons why these people got those jobs, and there are reasons why some other people who applied for those same jobs did not get accepted or did not go through the interview process. And it was because of the way they presented themselves during that interview. And when you can't see, as you look in your own mirror, the errors you're making, when you don't know it, and we bring it to your attention, guys, you have to get dressed up, you have to wash and scrub every day, you have to shave every day for the men, and for the women, you have to know how much jewelry and how much makeup to put on. There are parameters, to these things, and being sensitive about it is one thing, right? Calling it what it is what it is another thing. That family members aren't always going to do it for you. Your moms and dads and your brothers and sisters and your family and friends aren't going to always put you in shape. You sometimes have to allow us to put you in shape too, like get you together. And if you're looking at people around you who are kind of making it and you're wondering how, and maybe you see them dressing up in an outfit that they bought from Sears, well, maybe you need to go buy that outfit. I mean, these outfits don't cost a lot of money. $15, $20 shirt, $25 pair of pants, $25, $30 pair of shoes. We're not talking about rocket science or this huge expense that some of you orated us. Oh, it's so much money. I even had somebody a couple weeks ago talk about, oh, well, a book for this class costs so much money. Well, okay, I get it. You have to invest in yourself, right? So this is an important area. I appreciate Anna and Don and I appreciate Sean, but sometimes we have to say it as it is. I can't care about what your parents didn't do for you. Like, you have to walk away from your family and say, this is me now, I gotta take care of myself. Right? So if you're going through that thing where you want to look a certain way and have a certain haircut and wear a hat over your eyes and wear sunglasses all the time and wear earbuds in, well, that's just not going to work. Employers are not going to deal with you. They view you as being too emotionally mature for their business, and they won't hire you, even though you're skilled with a D5 and a light kit and a microphone and your laptop. So we have to get you past that. Like, be who you want to be in your own time. But for the purpose of the interview process, and I can't help you too much unless you have those things resolved, right? Okay. So if there are seminars by strangers that talk about these things, go to those seminars. Because sometimes you have to listen to it by a stranger. Like, not by me, and because you don't like me anymore about it, you don't like them about it more about it, but you'll hear it. One day you'll learn that we're not trying to hurt you, we're trying to help you. And this is directed at everybody, female, male, of all ages, all sizes, all demographics. We have to be who the employer wants us to be, right? And then we can be who we want to be on our own time.
Has everybody in this room gone on a job interview before? Who hasn't gone on an interview? Let me back up that way. Who's never gone on a job interview? Okay, so everybody here knows. Oh, you haven't? And you have not. Okay. So for those of you who have, did you get the job that you interviewed for every time? By show of hands. You got the job every time? Did you apply for?
Yeah, it was only like 2 though.
It was only 2. Okay. Well, that's a pretty good average. 2 out of 2. Okay.
100%.
Okay. All right. But here's what's going to happen after you graduate. You're going to apply for a lot of jobs in your field that you're not going to get, right? Because you're going into a competitive environment. You're going into a situation where you're competing with other schools, other graduates. So when you finally get a call for an interview, that's your opportunity to really set yourself apart from the other applicants, right? And so that's why what Anna's sharing with you today is so important, is because you can't casually take that opportunity like, oh, okay, great, I'm just gonna show up and, just kind of handle it. You have to really go into it with a full level of commitment, meaning you have to do the preparation, research the company, what's their mission, what do they do, who are their competitors, right? Go on their social media platforms and look at all of the videos that they have out there. You've really got to immerse yourself in this company, because when you sit in front of this hiring manager, they really want to know how prepared you are or how serious you took this opportunity before you showed up. And I think I shared with you guys before, the interview starts the minute you submit your resume. It doesn't start when you're in front of the employer. It starts as soon as you hit send, right? The grammar, the spelling, the manner in which you communicate with the receptionist when you show up that day for the interview, the manner that you talk on the phone when they call you. Do you sound like you're laying in bed when you're talking to them, or do you sound up and motivated? All these things communicate a certain message to an employer. And so you have to ask yourself, what message am I trying to send? What impression am I trying to give off? And if you haven't thought about that, I think the time to think about it is now, right? Because it could very well, you could be qualified on paper for the job, but by the time they interview you, they decide, well, you're not, he or she is not a good fit for us based on some other things that we saw. The things that are not listed in the job description. The social skills, the presentation skills, those things can be
Soft skills.
Soft skills, right. And you want to share some things with some of the people that come into your office? I mean, you deal with college students, you deal with older and younger people. So how do you help them, let's say these guys come in today. What will be the first step?
So the first step will probably just be to get you acquainted with the facility, make sure that you know everything that you have available to you, essentially. So if you want to, you can sign up for a workshop. We have workshops that run every single day. There's about 4 or 5 of them every day. So depending on what you're interested in, you'll probably meet with somebody who's kind of like an intake specialist. We'll go over what you're interested in and what you hope to gain from your experience at the Career Link. From that, depending on what you say, whether your needs are something more intensive or something a little bit more casual, they can point you in the direction. So you may be able to, like I said, attend a workshop. They might send you to a specialized room called the Job Club, where those are reserved for individuals who have that Job Gateway account and are actively doing their job search. So whereas the Career Resource Center, that's kind of open to anybody who is kind of just doing anything generally job related. The job club is for individuals who are maybe writing a cover letter and they need some extra tips on how to do that. Or they have an application coming up and they need to go through every single step of the application with the references, to the resume, to the cover letter, to maybe like a sample essay, or maybe in your case you'd be submitting like a sample video or a presentation that you did throughout your course of school. So it's a more intensive type of assistance that we offer. So again, it really depends on what your needs are at any given moment, but you can expect that anybody is there to assist you, whatever the case may be.
So this is a good supplement to what Don and I do. I'm sorry, Don, you're about to say.
No, you're good. You're good.
So Don and I work with you guys every day, right? So mock interviews, resume prep, cover letter writing, job interview skills, anything related to the practice of getting a job or getting an internship, that's what we're here to do. What Anna's offering you through PA Career Link is supplemental to what we do every day anyway, and it's also free, which is great. And it's something that you guys should avail yourselves to, because if you're looking for summer employment, you're looking for supplemental employment, then that might be a resource that can help you in addition to what we do here on the campus. This is not something in place of what Career Services does. This is an addition to. I want to make that very clear to you guys. We are still here to help you, but Career Link is also an option for you, those of you who are looking for additional help. Did I see a hand or a question or comment? Okay.
Yes, this is it's all an investment, in yourself. The time for excuses is over. I talk to students, speak to students all the time, who complain about having the lack of funds to go buy, an adequate interview, clothing, and so to speak. But all of us have $300, $400, $500 cell phones, so those are all things that you want to be very cognizant of. You definitely want to make sure that you are putting the investment into yourself. You have to put yourself out there. Opportunities are not just going to drop out of the sky, for you. You all are in competition with plenty of other students from other schools who have the same type of qualifications, the same type of skills, but you are the ones that have to market yourselves in order to be in competition for those skills. So you have to ask yourself, what am I willing to do to chase this opportunity? So it's all about, going to make sure that you are, you look like $1 million, when you go in to speak to that employer, making sure that you're having eye contact, making sure that you're exuding the right attitude, that opportunity is going to take for you. So you are the ones that are going to have to really put that effort into really going after what it is that you're all here for. You're all looking for opportunities, so you definitely want to make sure that you're putting the effort in to put your best foot forward, so that way you obtain your goals upon graduation.
And something else that PA Career Link can help connect you to, if purchasing clothing that's appropriate for interviews or employment is an obstacle for you, we have a partnership with an organization called Career Wardrobe. It's located, I believe, over on Spring Garden Street, and they have everything available that you might need to go into an interview. So they have clothing, they have suits, blazers, skirts, button-down shirts. They also have accessories, they also have shoes. I think they even have jewelry, so they really have everything that you might need to actually go into your interview feeling good, because you know that you look good and you look presentable and you look professional. So that's something that you can come in and we can give you more information on. Again, that's also free. So.
Questions, comments? There should be at least a question or a comment, because everybody in this room, unless you're gainfully employed, I'm sure you're going to be looking for a job at some point.
For what you just spoke on, for borrowing the clothes for the interview, I mean, you allowed to borrow that kind of clothes for going to work? Because once you land the job, it's at the first week or whatever, you may not still have the proper clothes. I mean, what are you
Right.
still able to?
Right, so I believe that they do allow you to borrow clothing for different time frames, but the idea is to just kind of give you kind of like a foot up so that you're able to start with that appropriate clothing, and then once you receive your first paycheck, then you have the funds to be able to go out and be self-sufficient in that way.
Right.
Yep.
Question back.
You get to keep the clothes, or you gotta give it back?
You have to give it back. It's a give and take type of thing. Yeah.
So I've got a there's that camera. Question about street grammar and ink and jewelry. So street grammar is the way you talk, ink is what's on your skin, and jewelry is what you decide to put in your ears, and your face, and your body. So in regards to the kind of successes some of your graduates have had or have come through your program for help and have moved on to successful job opportunities, what kind of things have you seen have helped students being graduates from your program, we'll use it that way, to be more successful in regards to finding opportunities? We've got a very creative industry here, right? And because of that, that leads our students down many paths, which includes dressing themselves up, in some cases with generic everyday kind of, their grammar isn't always old English or proper English, what could we say? Because they talk to each other all the time, right? You only end up talking to your family like you talk to your friends because you're around your friends with your family. So sometimes grammar is poor, generic grammar is poor. Sometimes also street slang is used often. And then certainly sometimes a student wanders down that artistic path where they're out with their friends and maybe they engage in occasional drinking, pre and after 21, maybe even sometimes marijuana is a part of that life, and sometimes maybe it's art on their arms and their face and on their necks and on their bodies that's inked, and sometimes it's jewelry on their bodies. So how is that dealt with at your organization? How do you broach that subject by telling somebody, okay, so if you're planning on it, do it hidden, right? If you already have it, this is how we hide it, and, you know. And how do you approach somebody that already does speak in street talk, and you want them to speak more proper grammar, or something along those lines? I mean, does anybody actually formally look at a student saying, look, we need to do a lot of work on you, and here's how, or is so that we promise you we'll help you, and like the student has to do all the work? Because if they don't recognize it, they're not going to recognize it when they end up at your office.
Right. I think that we have a very transparent staff at PA Career Link, and we really are out for your best interest. It's not to be rude or be judgmental, it's just really to set you up for success. So if somebody comes up to you and says, hey, like maybe you should change that shirt for the interview tomorrow, take their advice. They're not doing it to be mean, they're just doing it to give you an advantage over somebody else who might have worn that offensive shirt. The general rule is that you should overdress for every occasion with an employer until you start to get the feel for that company or the culture of the company. So if you do have tattoos, if you do have piercings, take them out just for the preliminary stages. Maybe the company culture is something that allows tattoos and is, you know, productive, promotes creative expression in that sense. Then it's okay once you've maybe been there for a month or so and you've kind of felt it out that this is an acceptable way for me to present myself in that situation. But you want to make the best first impression possible. So if you can right off the bat, just dress conservatively. Take out, if you have a lot of piercings, if you have dangly earrings, just wear something a little bit more modest. That's kind of a general rule for every type of workplace. As far as learning about ways to articulate better or maybe avoid certain types of language, that is an issue that we face a lot at PA Career Link. As I said, we have employers on site all the time, and I genuinely mean that when I say all the time, as well as our staff. When we provide those interview pre-screen days, we're also being selective about who we put forward to interviews with employers. So not to say that you need to be constantly on guard or walking on eggshells around us, but we are watching and we are listening to what's being said in the elevators and the hallways. So there are opportunities to either get a chance to speak with an employer or not get a chance to speak with an employer. And there's ways to go about doing that. So we have workshops, particularly in the peer mock interviews workshop. That's an opportunity for you to really practice how to articulate and maybe offer a different vocabulary than what you're used to. So if there's a way to go about explaining something about your background, maybe different words that you could use that are more professional or maybe are more specific that explain more about who you are and reflect you in a positive light. So we have workshops that work around that. But in terms of just kind of talking in the hallways or anything like that, that's something that any staff member might just come up to you and be like, hey, like, quiet down, or like, you know, talk about this outside, right? Not for a place like this, because we do try to maintain a very professional environment. So anything that we can do to just keep everybody in good spirits and also everybody in the professional and most presentable way possible, we try to uphold that. So, yep.
I think I may have like a kind of a big problem It's like, and it's not like I mean to do it,
Mhm.
but the problem had presented itself like since I was a kid. It's like I come from North Philly, and like in North Philly, like they speak with like a heavy slang. It's like heavy slang, and like when I go on job interviews, it's like I can wear the right attire. I come in, and, you know, looking in the eye, shake their hand properly. But then when I sit down and I interview with them, they can automatically tell that I'm from North Philly, like 'cause how I talk. And like, I don't mean to, like even if like I went to the career link in Spring Garden.
Mhm.
So I was there for a while, training, like, you know, going through different steps, different classes and stuff like that. But then when I go in the interview, it's like it spills out, and it's like it hurt me sometimes.
Mhm.
I mean, you know, sometimes they don't necessarily care about how I speak. They just care about the character. They care about the resume and, you know, how I present myself or whatever. They don't really care about that. But then some jobs they do care about that, and it's like almost got to the stage that I just accepted it. Like, all right, this is how I speak. I come from North Philly, and if they don't take it, then oh well. Like I kind of accepted that. But I want people to like go into any job and be able to get any job.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
without that like being my hurdle.
Mhm.
My obstacle I feel.
That's an important point that he's raising, and how would you address that? I've had some students who English might not have been their first language, or, you know, to his point, you know, you may have a certain vernacular based on your socioeconomic background.
Absolutely.
So how would you address that? Is there creative speaking, public speaking classes that are offered, or, you know, what resources would you recommend for somebody to deal with that?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, I think it's really important to distinguish between discrimination and somebody who's, you don't want to put it all on yourself and say that because I'm speaking this way, I'm not getting these jobs, because there are employers that will discriminate. So PA Career Link, we do our best there. We serve diverse populations. We serve people, as you said, who English is not their first language. So we work with employers exclusively that are open, that aren't going to judge you or discriminate against you for the way that you speak. And most of the time, like, to me, you're extremely confident, you're extremely articulate. That shouldn't be an issue for an employer, to be honest. So it's really important to just have that awareness to know that if maybe that's not an employer you want to work for, right?
That's a good point.
Right? So as much as they're interviewing you, you're also interviewing them. So if they're giving you bad energy, if you don't feel respected in that space, you don't have to take it, you know? So that's just really important, I think, to keep in mind for anybody. As well, we do have a lot of opportunities. We have a lot of opportunities to just present during class. Like, we'll have public speaking classes, or we'll have in the peer mock interviews, people will get up and take turns answering questions. I also wanted to say that even if you don't have a workforce advisor, any facilitator is willing to meet with you individually, so that can be a way that you get some one-on-one help. So I know that all of the facilitators at my site, they open up, it's kind of like office hours. You guys have office hours with your professors? They have office hours, essentially. So if you need an appointment one-on-one, if you're like, hey, I need some extra help practicing articulating, then they can definitely sit down with you and work with you on that, and maybe just rehearse some answers, rehearse some vocabulary. But if it's something that, you know, like, you can't be ashamed of who you are, right? That's the most important thing. So it's a matter of just kind of choosing the right employer, as well as the right employer choosing you. So just have that confidence going in that you're not going to accept something that's less than what you deserve, right?
How soon could college students come and be a part of your services at Career Link? Like, for these guys, if they wanted to start now, would they be able to do it now?
Yeah, absolutely. So PA Career Link, just due to our funding, we don't serve below 18-year-olds. So most college students are 18 and above. So just by those circumstances, you'll be able to come in. We're open Monday through Friday till 4:30 in the afternoon. So any day during those hours, if you have like a 2-hour break between class and you want to stop by, it's up to you. But there's nothing that they have to do beforehand. They can sign up online if you're interested in going on Job Gateway and creating an account. That could expedite things for you because you'll make a Job Gateway account at the Career Link anyway. But again, you don't have to do that, so you can just come in whenever you have a free moment.
And the office closest to this campus for you guys is at 1617 JFK, which is pretty much 2 blocks away. So it's, you know, they're literally like right around the corner.
To get the services, you need like just like a state ID.
Yep. Mhm.
What if you're from like New Jersey? I'm personally not from New Jersey, but I know a lot of people are here. So what if they have a Jersey ID? Can they still get those offers?
So basically every state has their own version of PA CareerLink. So New Jersey does have a version of this. I believe they're called one-stop centers. So that's something that they could do in their neighborhoods, depending on where they are in Jersey. But something else, even if you are a Jersey resident or your ID is from Jersey or your friends, whoever.
Oh yeah, I'm just asking.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I spoke of the workforce advisors and the vocational training, those are the only 2 times when you would have to present residency in Pennsylvania. But if you just wanted to come in and take a workshop or meet with somebody about any like resume writing or get help on an application, you can absolutely come in. It's just those 2 opportunities that have that specialized funding, because Pennsylvania has the funding and then New Jersey has the funding. So if that makes sense. So they can go to New Jersey and actually get the same opportunities that we're offering at CareerLink. Anybody else?
So I have a question about taking a tour of the facility. Can we just schedule a tour?
Yeah. Yeah, you can contact me. We can just give you a runaround. It's pretty big. It's like a square block, so sometimes tours are useful, and then you can have confidence going in there. You know which way to go for what's resources. So I'd be happy to set that up.
So we'd like to do it on a Wednesday afternoon?
As in today?
Well, we have 1 or 2 more windows where we can do it during this with this group.
Okay.
So I mean, if you wouldn't mind, before you physically go back to your office, I can just connect with you over a business card. You can confirm
Yeah.
maybe the next week or 2.
Yeah, and we're going to be working with Anna and CareerLink, you know, quarter to quarter for both this campus and 2300, because, you know, all the students need to hear about these resources. So, but out of respect for Anna's time, you know, we blocked out an hour for her to come join us. I know that they have some other things going on. If there's questions or comments you guys have, let's ask them now. If not, I want to give Anna a chance to kind of give some closing remarks.
Okay, well, I have said mostly everything I wanted to say, so I guess my last word to you is if you have a free second, I would stop by and just check it out. Nothing is mandatory on your part, nothing is an investment financially, so if you feel like you come in there and you don't feel like it's right for you, something's not right, you don't have to come by, you know, it's that easy. So I would say, worst comes to worst, you tried something new, right? And then maybe you didn't like it. But the best thing is to just go in there with an open mind, see what happens, and you're exposing yourself to new opportunities. So that's never a bad thing. Okay?
Thank you.